Your website is part of your sales department. Driving traffic is part of your marketing department. So driving traffic to your website, that's marketing. Once people get to your website, that is the sales department. Your website has to make sales. And that's the purpose when you're creating your website. And a lot of people just go in and they have a picture of what they want their site to look like, but they don't think it through first. And I'm kind of pleading with anyone who doesn't yet have a website to think it through first, because it will change the way you design your site. And that's really what my little 5 minutes is about here. You got to decide exactly what you want them to do. And that sounds novice, but you'd be amazed how many people don't have, if you say, what do you want your website visitors to do, they can't actually answer the question. So you got to decide that up front. And you got to build your website as if though it's a big sales funnel. And when I mean sales funnel, I mean it's a sales funnel. And people visit your site, and you give them resource tools, and you give them information, and they get to know you, and you build trust, and then you can make the sale. And you got to conceptualize that when people go to your website, that they're going to go through a bunch of different steps, and they're going to familiarize themselves with you. And when they trust you, that's when they're going to be more than likely to buy something. There's really three primary questions that your website has to answer, within the first 5 seconds. When someone gets on your, because that's about how long you have before people decide to hit the back button if they're not interested. And the first one is, why am I here? You have to tell them what you do. I mean, this sounds basic, but seriously, just make it really clear on your homepage. Where do I look? Most homepages have far too many links. You got a homepage of a website with 20 links. That's not, people think that's the most valuable real estate, so they want to put everything on the homepage. Your homepage is there to qualify your visitors and get them into the bowels of your website where you can answer the questions. So segment them on the homepage with a few basic choices so you can get them to the part of your site that has the answers they're looking for. And the last thing is, what do I do? You got to tell people what to do next. And that's kind of the call to action, right? And that's the hardest part in many respects. But the bottom line is, when someone comes to your website, they are in the submissive position, right? They're in a receiving mode. You have to tell them what to do. They're not in a mode of making decisions. They're in a mode of receiving what you give them. That's a huge opportunity that you can take advantage of or not. Your website's having a conversation with the people who arrive there. And every page has to communicate one clear message. So when you're designing your website, every page in that hierarchy of your website, home page and the ones that go off the home page, and each one's of those segment, every one of those pages, what's the message that's being communicated? And if you can get them to interact, that's where the trust is. And they've done studies on this. And someone who clicks on a website just once, their trust level doubles on the first click. I mean, granted, it's from like 2% to 4%, right? But the bottom line is, interaction is trust. So if you can get them to click on something, then they're trusting you. They're like, yeah, I want to learn more. And you just qualified them a little bit. You know a little bit more. Maybe you have, I'm a man, I'm a woman, right? Whatever, right? It's a very simple example. I'm a man. Okay, I'm dealing with a man here. So you have the information that caters to that audience, okay? And you got to qualify those visitors and plan that conversation. So there's three kind of primary cornerstones of a website. This is a little more kind of broad brush, but just keep it in mind. Focus, pick a narrow topic. Don't try to do too much on one site. Pick one narrow topic and then build a huge amount of content around that one specific topic. Okay, focus and depth. And then value goes without saying. If they don't have a reason to come back, they won't. If they don't have a reason to tell their friends, they won't. So just keep those things in mind when you're putting your website together. At the end of the day, it's one of the two primary pieces of successful internet marketing. Internet marketing is get people to your website and impress them once they get there. And by the way, impress them once they get there actually segments further into build trust and then monetize that trust. Right? That's the two sides to that coin. But the website conversion, which is what Cheryl's going to be talking about, is all about this part of the game.